Can you always predict how well a piece is going to work?
No, not at all.
Can anybody?
Not at all. And one of the things is when a piece doesn't work, I always like to look at it as an opportunity to say, okay, that's a learning towards success. In other words, we won't make that mistake again.
Failure is not always a bad thing.
No, it's not. Not at all. Not at all. The only bad thing is, sometimes you have to discuss the failure in a group setting. So.
Sorry about that. That's fine.
Okay.
I know a few years back, your company made a very bold step and eliminated outside sales force, focused on the marketing because you found it was working and you could measure results, and deal more with an in-house sales department in order to cut a lot of the outside sales expenses. Mm-hmm. That took a lot of guts.
It did. The owner of the company really looked at what he was doing and everybody has to look at their business. I look at my segment as marketing. He looks at the segment as the overall company, and you have to say, is there a better way of doing this? And we were a regional company. A person can only handle a certain territory of a geographical size, and if you figure the fact that you want to be national, how many people is that going to take, mm-hmm. and what kind of infrastructure you need for that? Whereas we can use marketing to reach a national audience and funnel through the phone back here.
And your company still has a sales director, but mm-hmm. I imagine you guys work pretty closely together. Every day.
And we try to make sure that anything we do is coordinated, so it makes some sense.
That's a great point. Give me an example of something like that.
Well, in the past, sometimes he would run off and do a spiff or a promotion within the sales staff, and then he'd come to me after the fact and want, do we mail anything that I can tie this to or anything like that? Well, it's a little late for that,
right.
And especially if you're using direct mail, it takes about 10 days to generate any activity, mm-hmm. 7 to 10 days.
And on the same token, if you're out promoting something, you've got to make sure the sales department's aware of it, aware of the specials. The worst thing you can do is have somebody call in and they're clueless about it.
It's happened here.
Sure, every company has.
You bet. One of the things we do now is everything's coordinated. I know exactly where he wants to go, and he knows where I'm going, so we're on the same page, same direction. And we're tying in current mailings with spiff programs to help excite the salespeople at the same point in time. I think we're saving money and being smart.
Term spiff, I haven't heard that in a while.
He likes to use that word.
we use it all the time too. It's basically paying your inside salespeople a little bit of money every time they sell a certain product, so they'll really focus on it and add
push
fries.
It. Yeah.
Add the fries with that.
You bet. You'd like fries with that. Yeah.
Over lunch, we were discussing your company right now is trying to decide: are you a sales organization or a marketing organization? Can you discuss that a little bit?
I guess I can. Right now, we're trying to decide as we grow how best to push the company along. We have two choices. Right now, we have a moderately small sales staff, and marketing is mostly driving in new business to the sales department, which they make sales. The sales staff would follow up and then take over that account, mm-hmm. and call the account back on a regular basis to develop a relationship with them, and we do relationship selling at that level. The question is, do we need 50 people, one per state, for example, or do we need to develop the relationship and to grow the business that way, or do we need to mail and advertise a bunch more and have a smaller order-taking type of a setup?
And again,
like an incoming call center.
It's a major crossroads. Just like where you guys made the decision on keeping an outside sales force on, it's a big step. And
we're doing things this year. We're cutting back a little bit on the marketing as a still throwing it up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We're staying very focused to our core market. We have some auxiliary markets that we market to. We'll hit them, but not as often this year. And we're wanting to see what our sales staff will do and what they can carry.
I see.
But at the same time, we're not giving up on marketing.
Kind of like a process of elimination.
You bet. We want to see what happens.
This has been good. Is there anything you would like to part with for students to consider as they work towards their degrees in the real world?
Uh, when you go out in the real world, you'll find that most of the time you'll never quite work on the things you want to work on. Some of the ideas you're going to work on aren't going to be the most exciting things to work on. Matter of fact, some of the things at the end of the day you'll say, I can't believe I worked on that. But everything is an effort forward. We were talking on the way back about having a spiff or a program that, or a marketing campaign that, let's say the boss wanted to use a particular phrase and you think it's a dumb phrase.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's a bad phrase or you can't build around it. There's nothing you can do with it. But at the end of the day, you end up doing it and using it. If it doesn't work, you won't use it again. Most smart businessmen understand that. They won't make the same mistake twice. But sometimes
that's reality.
That's reality. You work for a small business, they write the paycheck.
Yep. Well, Gary, thank you very much.
No problem. I enjoyed it.